I hope so.
It was cold. Did you Mother's Day yesterday? It was very cold.
Yes, it was.
It was sunny, but it was so cold.
Yes, it was.
Going to warm up. We might hit 80 degrees this week.
Oh, that'll be fantastic.
Who knows? Maybe even 90.
Yes.
Could happen.
The hotter, the better.
Probably won't. All right. So we want to talk about a couple things. I'm going to throw something at you that we hadn't even prepped you on.
After I just told him that we were just talking about the
I'm going to go about the gift of music, but
Okay.
do you mind if I bring up another topic? And I will.
Not at all.
And I know you're good with it. You're really good on your feet, on your toes. Gift of music is something we're doing here at Town Square Media, and it happens on Saturday, May 14th, this Saturday, where people can bring instruments to Sangertown Square that they no longer use, and they will be refurbished by a company in Dolgeville. That company's name is
Samco.
Samco. And they'll refurbish the instruments, and then they'll be donated to students at Proctor.
Yeah, no,
in the Utica School District.
Yes, that's a fantastic event that's going to happen. A few weeks ago, I got a call from Mr. Steve Marin, and he's
Who
always
works with us now at Town Square. Yeah.
Yes, he's a fantastic man. He's always donating, contributing.
He's a musician himself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And he called me up, with this, with this plan to do this again. And of course, it's a wonderful thing. Anybody not using an instrument anymore, if it's in their attic, if it's in their cellar, they're going to collect them, refurbish them, and then provide them to the orchestra and the band up at Proctor High School for the students. And I think that's a phenomenal project.
And you have so many students that are in the situation where they just can't afford to get some of these instruments are very expensive.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They're out of sight. The cost of new instruments are out of sight.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of students that cannot afford an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And this gives them an opportunity to learn music, play an instrument, and be part of our orchestra and band. And it's just a wonderful thing.
So it happens on Saturday at Sangertown Square, and all they have to do, Christine, is bring whatever instrument they have, bring it over to, I'm believing, Center Court in Sangertown Square, and we'll do the rest for them.
Right, and we have heard from some people who are not able to come to Sangertown on Saturday, and you can bring them here to Town Square Media.
All right, bring them here.
Bring them over.
Yeah. It's this Saturday at Sangertown Square, and again, the instruments will be benefiting at Proctor. The thing I wanted to throw at you that we hadn't prepped you on, and this will be easy for you because I know you are on top of especially at Proctor, you have to be on top of these things, but it's this gender issue in bathrooms that's going on throughout the country right now, and you're looking at North Carolina today with a big decision they have to make. They really created their own firestorm. They didn't have to do anything, and if they did nothing and just dealt with situations on an individual basis, they would have been fine. But, the governor's up for re-election. He's trying to create his own little political firestorm. But recently, Utica College had a forum for schools. I don't know if you guys participated, but my thoughts are you probably could have been putting on the forum because you have a very diverse school, and I'm assuming you have had to deal with the bathroom issue. How do you guys do that?
Yeah, I mean, when this issue came up and everything, of course, we took an immediate look at it.
Yeah.
And, we have made arrangements up at Proctor High School for this situation. And so far, the arrangement that we have made, has, pretty much satisfies, all members of our population.
And is it a separate bathroom that students get to use? Or?
Well, right now, look, we're going to follow the law and whatever the regulations are. Obviously, like we always do. But we make arrangements that is comfortable for the student, and as long as the student is comfortable, then we are comfortable. And
it doesn't just have to be a gender issue. Sometimes, girls have issues they need to use. Oftentimes they end up in the nurse's office. You have boys that have an issue with, whether it's a medical issue or something. These are things that schools have had to deal with for a long time. And I think you just have to, you've got to deal with it in a way that's what's best for the students.
Absolutely. You have to sit down and when these issues come up, you have to have dialogue, you have to have input.
Yeah.
And you take all of that into consideration when you formulate a policy. And that's what we do. And we try to accommodate everyone as best as we can, with the limited resources and funds that we do have. And so far on this issue, everybody is comfortable, so we're comfortable.
And, it's almost like when you look in the news, you're like, I wish this. Why does this have to become a news story? Because you know what that does. The minute something becomes a story, and oh, by the way, you're dealing with juveniles,
Yes.
especially boys. I don't know why boys seem to be boys, but we are. And you know, kids like to kind of. There's a lot to balance there. A lot of immaturity to balance for schools. That's got to be a challenge in itself.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, especially when you have a school that has over 2,800 students in it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's larger than a lot of the small towns and villages around us.
Right.
So I mean, it's for all practical purposes, it's like a town.
Yeah.
And there's always a lot of things going on. But our teachers and our staff, I think, do a phenomenal job. Our people up there are really dedicated and they're very hardworking. And they do everything they can for the students, and at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, and that's what we try to do.
And you have English second language. You have different cultures all coming together. This is it's a challenge, but it's also a pretty beautiful thing when it's all said and done.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. It brings the diversity up at Proctor High School and in our district. Just brings a lot of different things along with it. And it's really it's not only an academic learning environment, but it's a social learning environment, and I think that's really important to prepare students, for the next phase of their lives.
Last thing on the issue of the lawsuit, which I feel is ridiculous, and we've all talked about it. But a judge recently said that it can go forward, right?
That's correct.
And that just means, hey, let's spend more legal fees. Let's spend more money on legal fees.
I can't really comment on pending litigation, but that's the bottom line.
Yeah. I'd like to comment for you because I just
Please
think
do,
it's ridiculous.
Please do.
All schools that deals with diversity and deals incredibly well with its staff and faculty and teachers and students, it would be Proctor. And to see you guys having to go through this, it just sickens me. Don't answer. I don't expect you to answer, but it just burns me up. Especially when it's coming from Albany. That makes me even more angry.
You mentioned the bottom line. I think you can answer this. Do you know how many teachers? The state did increase funding, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct.
You'll be able to rehire?
Yes,
hire
we
back,
are.
I should say.
That's correct. Like everyone here knows, because I've been on this show many times, over the last 4 or 5 years, the district we have cut over $22 million in personnel, and the majority of them are teachers in order to balance the budget because of the state aid. We haven't been receiving our fair share of state aid. This isn't an expenditure problem; it's a revenue problem. And the way the state aid formula works, and the way these, it's the way the mechanisms are in it. Utica is not receiving its fair share. But last year and this year, we did get a little more state aid, and we're very grateful for that. But we're still not where where we should be. But we're very grateful for what we've got, and we're very fortunate to hire back 40 staff members that have been laid off. And many of those are, the majority of them are teachers, to reduce class sizes, and continue some programs that we have going for the benefit of the students. And at the same time, I'm very happy to say that there's a zero tax increase to the local property taxpayer. Because when we put our budgets together, we are very mindful of the local taxpayer.
Sure.
And because everybody's stretched and everybody's overburdened.
You get hit year after year after year. It's tough.
So for the last few years, we have had a zero tax increase. And we keep taxes as low or at zero as we possibly can, because we are very conservative when we do our budget and we go through our budget process. We look at everything. We trim where we can trim. And, our efforts really last year and this year have been on lobbying for our fair share of state aid, and I think a lot of these efforts have been paying off, and we're starting to see that.
All right, Superintendent Bruce Karam, we appreciate it as always.
Bill, it's always great to be here on Monday morning on the Keeler Show.
It is. And on TV now, we're back on TV. And don't you love the questions where you can't answer and I just answer and just go off? It's just the easiest way to answer a question.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I wish most of my meetings went that way.
He can go with you to the school board.
Yeah, you want anything you can't say, just let me know. I'll say it for you.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, got a break. Hold on tight. We're coming back. 8:22 at WIBX.